Hello everyone, it's time to Nefis and Chill. In this video, I am going to be showing you guys an updated overview of how to complete Veteran Dragonstar Arena in a decent and efficient manner. The primary reason why I'm making this video is because recently I've gone to a few DSA runs where people don't know where to go. They don't know how to position themselves as a group, the tank doesn't know which ads to prioritize, and strats from like 3 years ago are still being used by a lot of people. This may seem weird to some of you as there are a few full runs posted by others who have pushed world record scores, but it's easy to conclude that a sheer majority of ESO players, including some of you who are watching this video, don't watch those kinds of videos or are immediately disinterested by the fact it may take too much effort. This video will be a sort of middle ground for those of you who want to do vDSA decently, fast, and don't have to memorize all sorts of splits and other strats. As always, to support my growing channel, please do subscribe if you enjoy my content, and this is a DSA guide. Arena 1 in Dragonstar Arena is pretty straightforward. These positions, north, northeast, northwest, and north, are just reminders or references as to where you need to be when you're tanking this place, because the ad spawns are relatively close to these referenced areas. And here we have the first wave of the first round of Arena 1. This guy we're just going to chain in. For reference, we are a Dragon Knight tank. You don't have to be a Dragon Knight tank. It's simply easiest on the Dragon Knight tank for DSA. We're pretty much just chaining these ads to where we are currently. And the reason why we're here is because these ads are pretty fast coming to us. And the priority ad spawns are usually closer to the north rather than being in the center. You could probably be located more towards the center, northish, but it's really up to you, it's preference at this point. So that was round 1. And round 2 is going to start, and here we make the mistake of going to the northwest area by mistake, as I was trying to remember what was going on or what was happening exactly. Since it's been a long time since I've tanked it. But basically, you want to be in the northeast section, not the northwest for the second round, because the last ad spawn takes place in the east, as you'll see here shortly. And here we're just pretty much bursting down everything, and as you guys can see, we realized the mistake and we're going to the east. We pull this guy immediately, and after killing this guy, it's the start of round 3, or round 3 of Arena 1. And the round 3, as I said at the beginning, is going to be northwest because the last ad spawn in round 3 is going to be a western spawn. And here we have 2 ads north, and we can just chain them in fairly fast from this position. And we're just going to be minor maiming, rooting, 2 more northern spawns, and then we're just going to pull them in. And after these die, we're going to have the last ad spawn here in the west. And it's pretty important that your group knows, you're going to chain this, because a lot of people do tend to go to the ad spawn and place their dots there, and the dots are gone from the, ad spawn. It's just a waste of time. So round 4, we're already on round 4, and that just shows you how fast this was. We're going to stay more towards north rather than towards northeast or northwest. We do have 2 ad spawns north. We also want to be careful with the ad spawns west and east. They do hit pretty hard. That was my mistake not bashing. And you always want to keep in mind that on the 3rd wave there's going to be an ad to the south. You just chain that in, and then there's going to be 2 ads north. For this one, you don't have to chain them in to where you were. You can just have the group kind of stack here and kill them. And that's pretty much the last wave of ads that we need to take care of here. And that immediately puts us on round 5 of the Arena 1. And here you want to tell your group to stay on the gate, because as a tank, it's really annoying to have the ads sort of go to the group where you are and sort of mess up the fight. So it's a lot easier as a tank for the group, and also easier for the DPS to not be harassed by DPS or by the ads to be on the gate. We have to move the boss out of the healing AoE. We're going to chain it in. Unfortunately, we made the mistake of not prioritizing the Fighters Guild ad right here. He did just one shot one person. So definitely always prioritize aggroing the chain or the flag ads. And we're just going to continue with the ad spawns here. We do have another elite ad here, and we want to try to maintain aggro of the boss. and just kind of continue moving out of the healing circles, especially if you are in a group with low DPS. And here we're going to pretty much finish up the boss, and that's the end of Arena 1, Round 5. Now, Arena 2 can be slightly a bit more complicated than the first arena, but it's still pretty straightforward. You can do splits here, but I'm not going to show you guys how to split here. For the first wave, we can do north or west or center of the arena. Second wave, we can do, or second round, we can do north or center. And the third round, I'm going to show you guys, we can actually transition from one side to the other, from east to north, and the fourth round is going to be just staying north. So here's the first round of Arena 2. The ice round, or the ice arena, I mean. And we're just going to be chaining in these ads coming in from the west and east. They'll primarily be coming from the west and east. And obviously, because the mechanic of staying close to the bonfires hasn't started yet, you can obviously start out in the center, a bit more away from the north. Here, we decided as a group to stay a bit more north than necessary. So either way, it's your preference whether you want to start out at the west, start out the north, or be in the exact middle of the three sides where the ads spawn. Now for the second round, it's pretty straightforward as well. These guys will spawn on the north, and your group will just kill them, and you're going to chain in or pull in ads from the east and west, pretty much exactly like the first round of this second arena. And some of the ads do act a little weird, like this bear. For whatever reason, hangs back, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Or you can also move towards the center. You don't necessarily have to move to the north. And here we do have a decision to transition to the east, because we do expect some ads to spawn at the east here pretty soon. So we're pretty much ending the round at where we're going to start. So this is gonna be a little faster in terms of saving some time. It's not too significant, but it is some time, especially if you don't want to stay in vDSA. So here's the thing: we killed the two ads on the east. We do want to watch out for the ice rate that has gone into the ground and comes out. The ads from the north are a troll and the bear, and as a troll dies, this is where you transition from east to north. Unfortunately, we didn't have the clear communication here at this point to have someone torch the bonfire north, which is fine, you'll still survive. And then when we transition to the north, we'll kill that ice mage immediately, and pretty much we're just going to grab the ads from here and kill them. And that is pretty much it for round 3 of Arena 2. Round 4 of Arena 2 is pretty straightforward. We're just kind of staying north. Now, while we can do splits or transitions here, we're just going to keep it simple. It's still a fairly fast way of doing things. And we have a troll spawning here. And we want to make sure we grab the archer here, because the archer can be quite annoying. Definitely annoying when you pull it in and it starts backing away. You can solve that with a root, or turning around to face the archers back towards the group so he walks into the group. Here we have a few ads, including the archer. We're a bit slow on reading it, but that's fine. And that is the end of round 4, Arena 2, which transitions into round 5, or the final boss round of Arena 2. Seems like we forgot a couple ads here, or they're rather, we killed the others so fast that they spawned a bit late. Here, we're going to have to prioritize as the tank the boss that spawns on the right side of us. So from our right, we're going to taunt the ice mage. It is priority. The two-hander doesn't really do a heavy attack right from the start anyway. And you do this because you want to point her back towards the bonfire, and this makes her retreat towards the fire rather than away from the fire. A lot of tanks make the mistake of tanking her, pointing her towards the wall away from the fire, and she's back against the wall. And this is a really good way of doing things, because you have all these ads that you're stacking on the bonfire. No one's gonna die, hopefully. And all the ads are coming from the west and the east, and the bonfire is a great location marker for you guys to do. Arena 3 is pretty straightforward as well. North to center, northeast, west to east for rounds 1 through 4 of Arena 3. And we're going to start out at north because there are 3 spawns here, and one of them is a priority target, the Nereid. As you can see here, we're going to be starting at the north, and we have everything down, dots, and then the Nereid is going to spawn on the right. Everything's going to group up nicely together, it's all clumped, and then we're going to start shifting the group towards middle. We can sort of still be towards the north, And then we're just going to basically chain and pull and everything. And after these crocodiles die, that's pretty much it. We want to make sure the hedge wizard also dies, and make sure the chain in the zombie that the hedge wizard normally tethers. And that's pretty much it. That's round 1. Crocodile from the east was the last wave, and the hedge wizard and the zombie was from the west. And you want to chain in the hedge wizard first, so she doesn't tether to the zombie, making him almost invulnerable, or tougher to kill. Round 2, we start out east, because we have a Wamasu priority target. We can just cleave it down. Everything pretty much spawns east, south, and north for the most part here. There's one lingering ad from the west, but that's whatever. Basically, the concept behind DSA in general is to always be where the ads need to die first. Some ads do have triggers for other ads to spawn, so that's partly why we're here as well. The stranglers that spawn here, you want to make sure you block this one-hander. The strangler that spawn here needs to be killed, because if you don't kill the stranglers, you cannot progress to the next wave or round of the arena. And that goes for the last arena, or the last round as well. If the 2 stranglers are still alive by the end of the last round in this arena, you can't progress to the next arena. Here we have positioning on the west, and this is because everything for the most part spawns west and north, except for the zombie over here. And we do have a problematic over here. We do have that hedge wizard tethering the zombie immediately. That usually doesn't happen, but we just got bad RNG there. And we have the Nereid. We're going to shift again from west to east, and we're going to chain in the northern Nereid. And then we're going to have a strangler spawn on the northeast corner. And this is where we just chain in all the ads, making sure we don't step in that poison AoE for too long. And that's the end of wave 3, or round 3, I suppose. And then we're going to start on the western side again, because this is where on the southwestern spot and the northwestern spot, stranglers spawn. You want to make sure the stranglers die, and then you're going to chain in everything. The Wamasu spawns also a bit more to the west, north, so it's pretty convenient for us to stay west. And then we're going to shift to the east again, making sure we don't die to the poison AoEs. We chain in the priority target, the Nereid, to the Strangler on the southeastern corner, and then we're just going to pretty much clean up here. Everything's just going to spawn around us, and there's going to be another Strangler on the northeast. And there's going to be 2 ads to the west and 1 ad to the east, and you just pretty much finish it up here. And that's it. That is round 4 of Arena 3. And for the next one, this is the final boss round. Here I tell one of my DPS, hey, go kill the southeast and southwest spawn of the Stranglers, just so we can get that out of the way. Probably put your weakest DPS or person parsing the lowest on those Stranglers, so you can get the maximum amount of damage on Nocta. Now, these bosses can be cleaved down both together. You particularly want to focus Nocta before she ports, and cleave down the dual wielder. And here we're positioning Nocta in a way she's facing us and the wall. If she's facing towards the center or an open area, she will streak to that area. Unless she has a totem up, she'll streak and then she'll walk back to the totem, sort of like the ads in Veteran Symptom of Video. So here we have Nocta who died. Now, we held her there because I was fairly confident this group could burn her. If your group has lower DPS than this group, definitely make sure you point her towards the northeastern corner. And for the most part, the rest of the fight is just kind of cleaning up the ads, making sure you prioritize taunting the Wamasu and the Nereid and chaining in the hedge wizards and so on. And we have to actually kill the Strangler like I mentioned before we can progress to the next arena, and that's it. Arena 4 consists of center, west, western center, or a split. Now, it may be an intimidating arena at first with the slavers spinning around and AoEs being everywhere, but it's a pretty easy one. You want to start out on the round 1 of Arena 4 in the north or towards the center. I prefer the center usually, but in this video we're going to be towards more the north. We have 2 ad spawns east and there's another ad spawn west. And this is why being center is a bit more advantageous than being north, because we don't really have anything north that spawns. The northern spawns are pretty intermittent, meaning that they'll kind of have sporadic spawns later on in the next rounds. And here, as we can see, we just keep seeing the ad spawns west and east. Now, you can do splits for round 1 and round 4 of this arena, but just to show you guys a very easy example, you don't have to do splits just to push up your time in DSA or get the arena as quickly over as possible. So that's just an example what you can do. For the second round, we want to start west, and this is because the slaver spawns here. The quicker the slaver dies, it's just less of a headache. He stops the tether. No one has a chance of really dying from the tether, and that's pretty much it. You just want to kind of, pull in everything. We have the Kagudi. Be very careful with the Kagudi, and everything spawning west, northwest, or east at this point. And you just want to keep an eye out for those Nightblade mages we have here, because they can stun through the blocks. It's like unblockable CC. And that can be a deadly combination with other ads. So that was round 2 of Arena 4. And round 3 is pretty much the exact same thing, except the slaver spawns in a rather different location. So more to the left on the west side. And we have a Netch here as well. Not really a big threat. And we have a Nixhound coming in. And we have another ad coming in as well. And we have a Kagudi that will spawn north. And again, do watch out for the Kagudi. I've had a lot of runs in the past, a long time ago, sure, when we had less AP, but this Kagudi definitely killed some runs. And we do have some slavers spawning here pretty soon. One west, one east, I believe. And we can just sort of stay west. Sorry, I think that meant round 4. But yeah, we can sort of just stay west and kind of just chill around. You do not have to kill the slavers, as a minor note, to progress through the rounds of this arena or even end the arena itself. They're just kind of annoying, so we're just kind of getting them out of here. We do have a Mender and a Fear Mage, or a Nightblade Mage, and we do have 2 slavers on the opposite side, and we will have another Nixhound spawn here. And we want to shift to the center here as a group in this case, because this will force the Ice Mage to get from behind their shield. And you could do a split here, but for this group, someone's already dead, so we didn't split to take care of west and east at the same time. And even if you're in combat, as you can see, with the slavers still alive, the next round will start regardless. You don't actually have to kill the slavers. Anyway, here we go, the last round of Arena 4. We have the Dragon Knight boss. She's very intimidating to some tanks, from my experience, but it's just a matter of positioning the AoEs if you get the tether, or noticing who in your group has a tether, and then you can move accordingly. So that was a pretty nice transition, nice movement. We didn't have the eruption on us, we didn't have to move too much. Dots are still rolling on her. We do have some ads that we need to prioritize, like this Mage and the Nixhound, but they will die pretty quickly. Do expect a second wave of ads to hit us here real quick. They're going to spawn from the west and east. We have an eruption, and we want to make sure as we move away from her AoE, we bash her, because she does do a interruptible ability that stuns somebody, or rather fossilizes somebody. So that will save some resources for your group, and that's pretty much it. You just hold her where she is. You can definitely passively heal through her magma shell, and that's pretty much it. You just burn her. If your group does not have the DPS to burn her, then you just kind of have to go around the room in a clockwise fashion so you don't run out of room of the AoEs. Now, Arena 5 is where a lot of groups tend to lose time and kind of scramble around not knowing where to go. So it's center, northeast, and center, and blah blah blah. It's a little confusing, as you can see on the screen, so I'm going to explain it as we go. You want to start out round 1 with your group in the center of this arena. It's because there's a lot of ads that spawn north, west, south, and east, and you just kind of want to pull them in as fast as possible, as we keep saying in this video. I'm going to have spawns east and west, and these will naturally make us gravitate towards the center a little bit, which is what was referenced earlier on that list that you guys saw at the beginning of this arena. I'm going to range taunt the Gargoyle and the Crocodile and chain in the Archer and the Two-hander before the Two-hander chain someone, just like that. And after you burn this wave of ads, that's pretty much it for round 1. As you can see, not a lot of time was lost, because we sort of stayed a bit northeast and then we shifted towards the center a bit more. For this one, just to avoid the mechanic, we're going to burn the Shadow Mage here. The first Shadow Mage spawns north, and the second one spawns west, and the third one spawns west delayed. I'm going to kill that, and as you do, the tank will sort of handle the other adds. Make sure the Fire Mage doesn't one-shot anyone. And we're going to actually gravitate again towards the center. And we're just going to make sure everything is clumped up together for the AoE and everybody to burst down. The Gargoyle sometimes is pretty slow, and that's why we're going to talk about the split later on in round 4. And here we're just going to do the exact same thing we did on round 1. Everything spawning around us, so there's no real need to go to a specific side until round 2, where we need to kill the Shadow Mage on the west. And he will be accompanied by a spawn next to him, which will be a Nightblade. And it is recommended that you taunt the Nightblade first, rather than the Shadow Mage, as I just did by mistake here. And then as you do, you go out towards the center a bit, and then you just chain as quickly as possible the adds, or chain or pull the adds to you. And then you want to shift to the north, because the gargoyles that spawn take a really long time, right? And then you just pretty much want to kill all this. And that's pretty much it for round 2. Everything is going to spawn around you again, making you naturally gravitate towards the center. I got knocked back because I'm bad. We want to chain the archer, make sure it doesn't move. And that's it. That is that's the round 3. Now round 4 is going to be a little bit trickier. So here I tell my teammates, okay, you two go west and kill the Shadow Mage when I tell you to, and stay there. I don't think I actually said stay there because that was a miscommunication on my part. And here we're just going to stack everything on the eastern side, because the gargoyle spawns on the east, and to wait for the gargoyle is to just lose time. At this point I tell the other two, as the adds die, to go west. And then here I tell one DPS to stay, and they are burning the Shadow Mage over there. And what should happen is when we split like this, we stay split on this round, but they came back because I forgot to tell them to stay there. But ideally you want 2 DPS to stay there on the west, because Gargoyle again takes a really long time to walk over here. And we're losing quite a bit of time just kind of waiting for him and not killing him when we should be killing him at the spawn point whenever possible. But yeah, that was round 4, pretty straightforward. Hopefully I cleared up any confusion you guys may have had regarding the split. Now the final round is not too horrible, not too hard. We want to kill the Shadow Mage and the Gargoyle here, cleave it down with the boss. Your cue to move the boss to the western door is his standard, which he's about to drop right now. And then you just want to make your way to the door over here. And what happens here is on the second add wave, based on his health percentage, he's going to spawn a Shadow Mage. And while we're here, we just chain in and taunt the melee adds, and they're going to come to us. And that's pretty much it. We're just going to keep burning the boss. And the only reason why I'm a bit more out from the door rather than stacking him on the door is because I want to chain in or taunt the adds as fast as possible. There's the Shadow Mage, it's going to die, and the boss will just kind of stay here. There is a Fire Mage from the east that we need to chain in or pull in or taunt at the very least. And that's going to just die with the boss. Now Arena 6 is one of my favorite and least favorite arenas at the same time, largely because there's a lot of role playing and dialogue going on with the NPCs. After you heard it for like 2,000 times like I have throughout my years of playing ESO, you get real tired of it. But at the same time, it's one of my favorite arenas because it allows for a lot of movement for the group, and a lot of it just makes sense. I don't know, there's some sort of aesthetic to it that I can't really explain. But anyway, Arena 6 is pretty straightforward. As we can see, we can be either split or centered in the arena for round 1, north and center, southwest and centered and gravitate to the west, and then east or split. Now round 1, again, as you can see, you can't chain these elite adds like the Lurcher, but you can chain in pretty much everything else. And as you can see, everything just kind of rushes towards us from all sides, north, west, and east. And we don't really have to do much. And here we can split. As I said in the beginning, you can have 2 DPS go to the west with 1 DPS and a tank go to the east. And we just kind of stay where we are as I communicate to my teammate here. And we just pretty much finish the round on our separate sides. By the time we're done killing this ad, the team on the other side is done killing their ad. Now for the second round of Arena 6, we are actually going to be starting out north. And we may gravitate towards the center a little bit. And we're starting out north because Archer spawns. This Archer does drain your resources if you get shot by its arrow, and it's kind of imperative that we kill it. And everything else is kind of rushing towards us. And again, we're just kind of gravitating towards the center a bit because everything again is spawning on both wings of the arena. And you could split here, but everything is pulled in so quickly, I don't think it may not be worth it. We do have another ad wave here, and we do have a Nightblade that's gonna sneak up on us, but no worries, we got it all covered, got it all stacked in the center. Again, you could split there, but I personally don't think it's worth it. Now the southwest Archer will spawn on these mushrooms we're looking at on the third round of Arena 6, and there's going to be, as I'm explaining the video to my teammates, there's going to be a werewolf spawn I'm going to take to the second Archer spawn on the western door. But in the meantime, we're just going to be chaining and then taunting everything into this little stack we have here on the southwest corner. And then we're going to have 2 ads spawn north, and we're going to chain them in towards the northwestern corner right here. And as our team kills it, we're going to actually position ourselves on the door, and then we're going to chain in this werewolf. So people aren't going to put their dots down there, they're going to put their dots on this Archer here. And everything will just die really quickly. And that's it. That's the end of round 4, or round 3 I mean, for Arena 6. For this one, it's a delayed Archer spawn, so it spawns in the second wave as we kill the Lurcher, the werewolf, and all that. You want to position your group on the northeastern corner, and then you want to chain in the werewolf, chain in the Lurcher, chain in the Archer, or whatever. And then that's it. As the Lurcher dies and the ads died, they triggered this portal spawn of the Archer, and you just want to kill the Archer. And now here you can do a split. You can either do a split or you can stay centered as a group. Personally, I would like to go for a split, and that's why we told each other we're going to split. And here we have a DPS killing off the last of the ads. And that's pretty much it. They're done. And that speeds up the round quite a bit. Now the last round of Arena 6 is an Archer boss. She has the same exact mechanic. If she hits you with a draining shot arrow, your resources are kind of fucked, which can be alleviated by stepping into those green-red AoEs that give resources back but also drain your health at the same time. If you're in too many of those AoEs, you'll just die, especially as a DPS. And here we want to make sure that the Archer doesn't move. This is purely a stack and burn fight. Nothing, you don't have to overcomplicate or anything. And the first wave of ads at spawn is going to be mostly melee, so there's no real need to chain them. You just kind of wait for them. There's no real hurry for them to die either. Ideally, you want to position them in such a way that it doesn't bother your DPS, like I just did. That's a bad tanking positioning. And here we do have, I think, 1 ranged ad or 1 melee ad that's sort of out there. And as the boss dies here, we just kind of want to make sure these ads are stacked in the dots of your group, so you don't waste too much time. And that's pretty much it. Arena 7 can be quite simple and scary, especially for the tank, but as you can see, it's really simple in terms of group positioning, or rather your positioning as a tank. You're pretty much going to be staying around this northeast corner vicinity or towards the center if you need to, because most of the ads actually just spawn north and east. There are some sporadic ad spawns to the west, but those tend to usually have only 1 or 2 ads. That shouldn't be a threat to any DPS that may be killing their sacrifice if need be. Sorry, that Bane can just distract me with its moonwalking. Basically, the clan fear here, you want to make sure you chain in before it jumps to the group, and definitely watch out for the tailspin. Again, just like the Kaguri from the earlier arena, it's definitely ruined a lot of runs for me in the past in terms of score pushing. Now, you don't actually have to kill any sacrifice as a group for the first 2 rounds of this arena. Even if you don't kill them in the scam spawn, this will still happen. This arena will still go on. And contrary to popular belief, that Spider Daedra is not an elite ad. It can be chained, it can be CC'd. And here, as you can see, we're still staying around in the general vicinity of the northeast corner, unless otherwise forced to move by the eruption or whatever the ad positioning. And we do gravitate slightly more towards the center, but we are still staying in the northeast corner for the most part. As you can see, after telling the group, hey guys, you don't have to kill the sacrifices for the first 2 rounds, we actually sped up the round quite a bit compared to groups that do focus on the ads or the sacrifices. But starting from round 3, which is right now in this video, you definitely do want to kill at least the west sacrifice. The east sacrifice will always spawn scamps, so there's no real need to actually kill the sacrifice to the east in pretty much every round. But north and west generally do spawn a harvest or a titan in the later rounds, rounds 3 to 5. And here we want to make sure that we have everything taunted. We're still, as you guys can see from the video, we're still staying in this northeast area. Those 2 ad spawns is basically the calm before the storm, before this wave. We do have some ads to the west that we need to chain in. There's a Spider Daedra that we forgot about, and a 2-hander or dual wielder, Dremora. And we just want to kill this. And that's pretty much it for round 3. And that's going to have us transition to round 4. Now the ad spawns get a little bit crazier and a little tougher the closer we get to round 4. You'll see what I mean here on round 4 when we do need to handle very dangerous ads. And here we have a Spider Daedra spawn here. No real need to chain it as before. Western spawns we're going to have, and your DPS, one DPS will probably stay west for 2 waves, as the sacrifice at west spawns 2 times in a row. And we are still trying to stay in this northeastern area. And I believe from the run that's in the video, I think the DPS west died and couldn't get the second sacrifice. Yep, there we go. And we do have to send someone over there to finish it off. But otherwise, even if someone dies or whatever, you as a tank, you're still putting the ads in this corner. They, again, as you saw, they spawn mostly to the east and south. And when your group comes back, they should die fairly quickly. And that's the last of them. They hit pretty hard, so you can't underestimate them. You definitely need to prioritize aggroing those Dremora and Zivkin, because they hit pretty hard and can one-shot DPS. And now for the last round, pretty simple, even made simpler by the fact you may have a Stam Circle in your group with Negate to negate their negates and Nova. But basically, you can send 1 DPS west and kill that sacrifice west. And if your group has enough DPS, you can just sort of skip the second wave of ads or second wave of sacrifices that spawn north and west. And here we make the mistake of not immediately distancing ourselves from the mage, and we missed a couple ticks on the bash of her heal, which has delayed the fight a bit, but it doesn't really matter. And here it's really important to note that I tell my group, guys, focus the knight, not the mage. A lot of groups make this mistake of focusing the mage. The mage will die to cleave. The mage is really easy to kill. Focusing the knight will actually end the fight a lot faster. And with this Daedra coming in, you want to make sure your group blocks its fire breath attack, which knocks people back, which can kill people if there's a combination of other attacks. And as you can see, as a result of focusing the knight only, we cleave down the mage, and the knight's gonna die. Just like that, we saved at least 30 seconds right there. And that's pretty much it. Arena 8 is going to be straightforward as well. And I'll explain here. So Arena 8 will see partial splits. This means you can only send 1 DPS to take care of a priority ad. And in this case, it's a battle mage that can negate the group. For stamina groups, it's not as consequential as it is for mag groups to be negated. So even if you get negated, no real worries here. We have West Center's partial split for the first 2 rounds and North and Center for the last 2 rounds before the final boss round. As we can see, we are a bit closer to the west side, and this is because everything can be pretty much chained in. As you know, we are missing 1 DPS because the 1 DPS is handling 1 battle mage to the east. And after the battle mage is dead, we have we've pretty much finished the wave 1 of round 1. And we do have another battle mage, I believe, that spawned on round 2 shortly after. But after these 2 mages and the spiders, that's pretty much it. I believe we have 1 more wave here. And there's going to be a negate from chaining the battle mage. But again, very inconsequential because everyone here in the group is Stam DPS. They're not max, so they're not as affected by the silence. And here we're gonna actually stay to the west again, but we can also gravitate a bit more towards the north. And this is because Centurions spawn west. And we can do a partial split again here because the battle mage spawns again. But again, no worries if you don't. And then we do have the 2 Centurions that spawn from the west. We make sure we, bash the ice charge, and that'll just be gone soon. You can taunt Green Centurion as a tank, but just like the Vollenfell dungeon boss and the other Green Centurions you may see in the game, or if they turn green, such as in Darkshade 1, you can't taunt them really when they're spinning, but once they come out of the spin phase, they're taunted. Round 3 is going to see us position ourselves towards the north as a group, and this is because a sphere and a spider spawns right here. Really important that we take out the spear as fast as possible. It does a lot of damage, and we're gonna taunt and chain in or pull in the adds over here. We do have northern spawns of the Centurions on the second wave after we kill this spider and sphere north, and that's pretty much it. We do have a few more adds spawning into the arena, but we are centered more towards the center now and the north, and these adds have spawned to the east. Which is a very convenient way of doing things, as you can see. Now again, for the 4th round of this arena, we are going to stack north because there will be 3 Centurions that spawn here, and killing them it's pretty straightforward. And you want to make sure you bash the ice charge. If you don't bash the ice charge, the fire Centurion drops the fire AoE. Now you want to shift towards the center as a group, and this is because on the east side there is a Dwarven Sphere that spawns, and Dwarven Spheres are definitely a priority. We chain them in before you do the electric charge up. And to the west there will be another Dwarven Sphere spawn, and there's going to be a mage spawn to the east as well, which is why we're in the center. And because we're in the center, we do draw out the ice mage from behind that ice shield that taunts can't seem to breach at all, even if you look at it from a sharp angle. So that's pretty good. Now the final round of this arena, very straightforward boss fight. I'll explain this as I did to the team. So I'm going to be positioning myself against the right wall here, right away from the gate. And we want to taunt the boss, stack the adds, and we're positioned here in a way so that if the group gets aggro from the Centurions that spawn in the later 2 waves, this is the first wave coming up, we can have plenty of time, taunt them and bash them like we just did. If they come to you, all the more better. And here we're just gonna keep an eye out on that blue Centurion, but it's gonna die here pretty shortly. We just don't have to worry about it. And here we immediately, due to the high group DPS, we immediately go into the second ad wave. Unfortunately, I forgot to keep note on that bash, which is a pretty bad mistake. You want to stack the ice and fire mechanics if need be. And in the meantime, you're just continuously burning the boss. You're not wasting any time, and you're just not skipping a beat. And if the Centurions are still up after the boss dies, you have to kill them in order to advance to the next arena. Arena 9 is a very fun and simple arena at first glance. It can be pretty dangerous, as you can see. Center, north, and east. We want to sort of start out center towards the northwestern corner, but not really on the corner, because an AoE sponsor that'll pull us down into the mechanic world downstairs, or the Alice in Wonderland downstairs, where we have to go down at a later point, but not now. Now, as a tank, you definitely don't want to touch the AoE. Here, as you can see, the adds are in really convenient spawn locations. They're spawning east and west, but the eastern adds are pretty fast at coming to us, and you do want to shift sometimes a bit more towards center to grab them a little faster as a tank, but otherwise your group should be fine here. And that's pretty much it. That's the end of round 1. Very fast, as you can see from our positioning here. And we actually want to remain here for the second round, because the exact same thing is going to happen here again. We do have a few more ad spawns than usual. We're just going to chain in or pull in the northern ad, and the last ad we'll pull in is from the east. And these ghosts are a little weird. They do tend to back up and then start channeling an ability you have to bash or interrupt, but they should die fairly quickly. And here we do want to make sure that the ads are under control. The two-handers can hurt a bit, and here we have the final wave of ads hit us. And you want to make sure you're holding block as a tank, because they do chain you, and if they chain you across one of those circles, one of those AoEs, that's a really bad Friday we're gonna have. And that's it. That's round 1 and 2, just like that. And round 3 is gonna be north, and on the third wave of round 3, a mini boss will spawn. If you can burn the mini boss, do it. You don't need too much, like you don't need all the ultimates in your group to kill the mini boss on the wave 3 of round 3. If you don't burn the mini boss fast enough, he'll put up a shield around himself, and at least one person has to go down. And that's gonna delay your vDSA run by at least 20 seconds, which is not good. And here's the mini boss. Again, I tell the group, hey, don't use all your ultis, just burst them down, and there you go. We actually have major vulnerability saved up, we have my horn saved up, we have, I think, the 2 other DPS are also saving their ultimates. And round 4, we're gonna see on wave 2, the second mini boss. And this second mini boss is harder to burn because he spawns the shield around him a lot faster than that mini boss just tried to do. And you're gonna save a lot of time here, actually, not sending someone down and clearing up the ads after he dies. So as these ads die, you want to make sure you taunt that Sork ad so he doesn't fear anybody. And then when to pull in everything, make sure no one gets CC'd, and there you go. That wave 2 round 4 boss has died. You want to chain in everything else, and your group should be good. Now the reason why we taunt that Sork ad is because it does have fear or crystal blast, and that can CC somebody. And when you're burning the boss or the mini boss, you don't want anyone to get CC, because that can definitely affect whether you burn it or not. Though I do doubt it with major vulnerability in play. The final round of Arena 9 is very simple as well. When the vampire boss spawns, she's the one with the sword and shield, you want to taunt her, chain the Wraith here. Both ads will die, but she will drop a standard or bat swarm. And then as she does so, you want to move her, just like we did with the Yokeda boss, the 200 boss earlier on the Sand Arena. And if your group is confident that they can live through the bat swarm, they can stay in melee range. If not, you want to play safe, it doesn't matter. Here we make a fatal error, we get CC'd, and as you can see, this mini boss, which we can burn, doesn't get burned. So we do have to send one person down anyway to take care of the shield around the two-hander. It is theoretically possible to do a split on the east and west here to burn both minis, but just for the purposes of the video, just so you guys don't have to like worry about optimizing your run in every single way, we can just do this very simple strat. It seems like a lot of tanks don't know about this strat, where you stack her on the mini mage at least, the mini mage boss at least. So this is a pretty good showcase of what you can do, and you just pretty much keep her here. As you can see, the DPS that went downstairs has succeeded in killing the shields off of those mini bosses. They're dead. We have one ghost spawn on the east, we have one melee ad on the west, and one range ad on the west as well. We just pull them in with taunt or chains, and they just naturally go down with the boss here. And that's pretty much it. And here at last we have approached the final arena, where we have to engage Hayeth, the Battle Master. Now this arena you can do several ways. A lot of groups usually take him, have the tank take him, and then sort of screw around with him and then take him back to the entrance gate. Here I'm going to show you guys what you should be doing instead of that really old strat. Alright, so we're going to go to the spawn point of Hayeth, the Battle Master actually. And there are a few skills that may be essential for your group depending on your group composition, but I'm not really going to talk about it in this video. And here, we're going to just stand here, and wait for Boethia to stop talking. At a certain point in her dialogue, which I'll actually put in the video and read out for you guys, she's going to say something like, defeat him and become my new chosen, lose and you'll be lost and forgotten in the depths of. And when the depths of, when you hear that, when you hear her say that, that's when you should put the dots down. The dots should already be up when he's spawning, and that's one of the keys to burning him here at the spawn point. You necessarily don't need ultimates, but ultimates definitely do help. After this, you have one DPS solid taunt, well, before this, and you have one DPS taunt him away from you, and then you just taunt both mini bosses that spawn next to him, to the left and right of him, and you just pretty much kind of roleplay, and that's it. Now, if your group DPS is high enough, you don't have to go back in to grab a second set of mini-bosses. But if your group DPS is low enough, or not low enough, but too low, you have to go back in after the second pull-in to grab the mini-bosses. But here we're fortunate in the fact that our group DPS is fine, and that's it. That is how you burn high at the Battle Master in 2019 and probably going on forward. I mean, there's no reason to not do this strat. Also, as a minor note, as you can see, this is our score, our vid, our time. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's pretty decent. And as an added note, I didn't have a Crush enchantment as a tank. So obviously there could be a lot more time saved just doing the way everything was done in this fight exactly. So you don't have to be the best, or you don't have to optimize your run to speed it up, but this guide should help you at least save 10 minutes at least. So if you're farming Dragonstar Arena for the master weapons, or if you're in a group that wants to try score pushing it, this guide can definitely be a good starter guide to help you with that. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching again. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions. Thanks for supporting my channel, and if you have not subscribed yet to this channel, please do so. It does support me. See you guys next time.